Good morning from the 2017 Road to the Horse, and here we are in the All-Tech Arena. I'm with the Queen of Equine herself, Tootie Bland. Tootie, what a great day we had yesterday, and I'll tell you what, it was tough, and the action was really thick out there, and those girls were definitely put to the test.
I know. Amazing day, right?
Amazing day, without a doubt. You know, I think people, were probably thinking because the girls were here that, the horses would be soft or handled more. And I tell you what, those horses were as tough as any horses we ever had. These girls had to really use some experience, use their tools. And I tell you what, it was a lot of things going on all at once out there.
I'm going to jump right into controversy. You know me.
yeah. You don't avoid that,
No, let's face it, straight up. We got a lot of questions, honestly, going into this event and celebrating the Cowgirl of whether or not we were going to bring quote-unquote special horses for the girls. That's not the case whatsoever. We brought the same horses that we would have brought for the gentlemen, and I think it's imperatively important to show and know that these girls are working the same horses that I'd put in front of you or Chris Cox or anyone else, and I think that was pretty apparent yesterday.
It really is apparent, and what I keep saying is, this is the year of the cowgirl, but really these are still the year of the horsemen, like always. And these girls are horsemen there, and so whether they're male or female, I mean these girls are talented, they're world class, and you know what? They're going heads up with the guys with just as tough a horses, and I think everybody could see that very apparently yesterday. We looked over there at Rochelle Valentine.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that big old horse. I mean, and she chose the biggest horse in the whole remuda.
And he's about this wide on the front end, about this wide on the...
I guarantee he's got a hip on him. He's thick, and tell you what, he was tough in the beginning. And as you know, at some point she did get on, and he did break in two, and she had to make a bit of a bronc ride out there.
I know. And when we were sitting here chatting just a little bit earlier, Craig and I were talking about that she got to that one point that every one of us has been there when you have to make a big choice of am I staying or am I leaving?
Am I checking or am I staying? But she kind of got up against that rail and she thought about it, and then that horse kind of he weakened a little bit, and you know what, she stayed right where she needed to be, and I tell you what, the crowd certainly appreciated it, and I tell you what, everybody was hooping and hollering at that point. I know she had to feel good when she got back in the saddle.
I know.
I talked to her after that, and she said, I'm not used to using a night lash, but she says, I'm gonna be now. So.
I know, there's that moment, right, Craig, when you're like, holy, I made it,
You're like, woo. Yeah.
And then you got 8,000 people pushing you forward, that we don't get that at the ranch. We just sweat it out ourselves, but it was a good moment.
Sometimes you make a bronc ride and nobody even sees it, so it is definitely appreciated here. So, but the point being, the girls are having to tough up, and look at Vicky Wilson. She's bringing a whole new aspect, a whole different style, which is wonderful because it keeps us learning and growing and going. And I mean, she was up and down on that horse, and I asked her because she got an injury, and I asked her exactly what happened, and she said that she was on that horse bareback. I mean, she was getting on that horse bareback.
Yeah, think about that. She's the only one out there doing that.
And that's interesting because I like what she was doing, because I've always said the horse bucks when you squeeze him. In other words, when you cinch him up, you gird him up, boy, that's when you see that response. So she's getting on without any type of saddle. I watched her legs. She was being very careful not to squeeze. But anyway, when she went to get off, she said she had her hands on the withers, and then when she pushed, she has a bad shoulder anyway, and it just popped out, and then her strength went, and that's why she sort of tumbled to the ground, but she dislocated her shoulder.
She did, and I was out in the middle of the arena and stuff, and she called for me immediately, and she just came walking out. I mean, you can't tell this girl's hurt. She won't let you know that, and she just said, I think I need some help to have someone come and help me put my shoulder back in. You're like,
your shoulders out.
Did you what? And I said sure, Now, here's the amazing part of it. So I take off and run, to get somebody to help. We have a therapist here, and we're kind of like getting into all the different sports medicines and stuff. So we have these guys to care for these girls. But I come running back. She's back in the pen. She did it herself.
Oh, she's tough.
Oh,
I tell you
wow.
what, I knew that girl's tough the first time I met her and I shook her hand. And I said, "Welcome to the gun show," So, but she's tough, and she's the kind of gal, in my opinion. I don't know what's going to happen. I haven't talked to her today. I'm waiting to visit with her, but I don't think there's any backup in Vicki Wilson.
No,
and if she has to get out there and work one-handed, I don't think she's going to drop out. But she's so tough, and she's very fit. But as we talk about tough, let's talk a little bit about Sarah Dawson. Now,
absolutely.
That horse, I was actually surprised she picked that particular horse, but she liked the bloodline of that horse for what she's going to do later, the Rain Cow horse. And so, her pen wrangler, her dad, Richard Winters, a 2009 world champ of the Road to the Horse, and that's the direction they went. But that horse, he's been tough. He's had an attitude. He's been posturing, and man, when she saddled him and squeezed him, that son of a gun can buck.
He woke up a little bit, didn't he?
I
think one of the fun things that's the chatter back here, and amongst you guys, because you've been around Road to the Horse for so long, is did she pick a horse similar to what Richard would have picked?
I think she did.
I think she did too.
Absolutely.
And that's interesting.
They go on those bloodlines, and of course, they're the fabulous bloodlines of the 4-6s ranges. How could you not? You may end up wanting that horse, to buy that horse, and wouldn't that have been something to see her maybe win the event and then take that horse to a Rain Cow horse event and become something special? I'd love to see that. So,
yeah, that'd be amazing.
Again, she got up on the side of the horse. She got him saddled, and my favorite part of hers was when she came in there horseback and actually drove him and lunged him from horseback, which I think that horse needed to be moved out a little bit and get some of that anxiety out of him, that trouble from the inside of that horse. So again, it'd be interesting to see, because she didn't actually ride that horse yesterday. So
no.
It'd be really interesting today to see which direction and
is
what
she
happens.
The only one that didn't get on?
And to be honest with you, the only girl we hadn't talked about now is Kate and Newbert, who drew a little horse that she picked, that 9 horse, one of the little buckskins in there. And again, she went in there and went to work and had some trouble. Because that horse was tough, and he was not relating or really accepting the training. But boy, she held her guns. She did some work, what I call breaking through with the flag, and boy, she had a tough, and I'm not sure. I don't think she really rode that horse, and so.
But she did get up.
Well,
did
she ended up in first place. She's in the lead.
Okay, let's talk about scores. About scores.
Surprisingly,
a surprise?
I think people were surprised. But if we think about Rachel, maybe she got some penalty points because she dropped her reins. That big horse stepped through, and now, all of a sudden, he was standing on those reins and throwing that head up. And then, she nearly got bucked also. She might have got some penalty points there, whereas Kate just kind of stayed solid, didn't push too hard, didn't try to go too fast, and maybe the judges like that.
Well, I'm wondering, too, did she get Wrangler penalty points? Because, that's in the game this year, too, as it was last year.
That's right, and there was some timing, and I saw those judges kind of wandering over there and looking, and so I don't know about how that happened, but amazingly, Kate ended up right on top. But what's I think the most interesting, it's a horse race, because I don't think 35 points separate all 4 girls.
No. And how notorious is Road to the Horse? For
what
year?
Man. Well, that one year we did the international, I had the highest score. I went out of the pen like this. But you things change very quickly, because it's the nature of the horse. You do not know what's going to happen, and we're dealing with. What's different in this sport is we're dealing with another living entity that thinks and breathes and gets hot and gets cold, gets sick and gets well, has good days and bad days, and so you never know exactly what's going to happen. So that's why this becomes a nail biter out here.
I know, it does. You're on the edge of your seat, and usually, the only guy that's ever crossed the threshold of breaking tradition is Chris Cox. But up to Chris Cox, the person that won the first round never had won the
Isn't that
event.
amazing?
Yeah, and you get these superstition things, you know, kind of.
Oh, yes.
Oh,
yeah,
man,
yeah.
they start coming
Well,
around
you get cowboys, you do get superstitions.
Yeah.
You know, I'm pretty tricky on that myself, but
All right, your top 2 superstitions. I know what mine are.
well, you know, I'm not going to put my hat on the bed. And I'm not
Absolutely.
going to wear a yellow shirt. and-
Absolutely. I mean, are you kidding?
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
we were raised or born with those.
Well, you got that rodeo background.
Yeah,
too,
you
so,
do, but it does change. I mean, if you think you had Road to the Horse figured out, or you think that your girl's ahead and it's a clean run to the
Oh, man,
finish
yeah.
line, think again, because
Yeah,
things
you
are
know,
going to change
All
today.
that's changed from moment to moment out there. But the girls are being tough, and you know, it's a tough event. But you know, we have, I think, if I'm not mistaken, we have Senator Reggie Thomas here. And we're so excited to have him come in here and visit with us a little bit. Yeah,
I'll give up my seat. And
Well-
for Senator Thomas, come on in here.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah.
I'll stand for you, Tootie. Good to see you. How you doing? Good to see you.
Good to see you, Senator.
I'm going
Yeah.
to set Senator Thomas down here. I want to say publicly that from the minute that we rolled into Lexington, Kentucky, and he found out that we did, he came over and welcomed us on behalf of the state. And from that point forward, you become family with us.
I am family. And I am so glad to be back out here again, especially to
I
see
know.
you, Tootie.
Aw,
I'm
thank
so glad
you.
to see you.
Thank you.
This is one of the best events for Lexington and for Kentucky the
Thank
entire year. People look forward to it. You bring a great crowd. People are excited about it. Great horsemen, and the best horsewoman in all the United States in Tootie Bland.
That's why we're friends.
Hey, Senator, I got a question for
All right,
you.
sit on down here.
The governor, Tootie, 1 second. You know, the governor made her a colonel. I was wondering if you could make me a captain. I think Dan would settle to be a private. So yeah.
Well, right now we don't have a Kentucky captain, but maybe we'll see about making you a colonel soon.
Thank you. I would wear it honorably. So, well, you know, this is a great event, and you know, when we're in Lexington, Kentucky, we're in the heart of horse country. You know,
That's
what a
right.
great history we
That's
have
right.
here, and this event is drawing people from all over the world. Isn't it amazing?
It is. I mean, you'll have a big crowd here today. I understand. Yesterday was quite successful, and people look forward to this event. I mean, they buy tickets, they talk about it. I mean, it is a great event for people who know horsemen, know about rodeo, and those who just trying to find out and learn about it.
Well, you know, it is. It's a learning experience to come here, but you know, the event has become a destination place, just almost like the Kentucky Derby or
Yes.
the World Series or
Yeah.
the National Finals. So people plan on coming here, and one of the things that I think, besides the event itself, is the location. You know, Lexington has so much history. If you get to go downtown, there's so much to see and involved there. There's so much going on here in Lexington. So.
I agree. There's a lot of history here, and Lexingtonians, since the birth of this nation, have made a significant contribution to America. And in terms of the location, I mean, we consider ourselves right here in Lexington the horse capital of the world. We had the World Equestrian Games. We are the horse breeding capital for thoroughbreds in the world. I mean, you know, when you think about horse, you think about Lexington,
You
Kentucky.
do think
I mean,
about
they are synonymous.
Yes, absolutely. You know, just to drive around the countryside, all you see are these incredible horse farms, thoroughbred farms that have been there for a long time. You see the trees lining the driveways that are, you know, got to be way over 100 years old. So again, the history here is incredible. So
Right.
I got to ask you now.
Sure.
Now, do you ride horses?
I do ride horses, actually.
ya?
I do
Yeah.
ride horses, and I told Tootie this year I want to ride a horse today.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm hoping I'll get a chance to ride a horse today. But yes, I do ride horses. now I would say I'm on the same level as the horsemen you'll see today.
Yeah.
But yes, I can ride a horse.
Well, you know, I think everybody's, and you know, to me, everybody in America's got a little cowboy in them. You know what I mean? And I love that. So because it just, you know, screams of freedom and everything
That's right.
America stands for.
That's
and
right.
so again, as a senator, you know, those are the things that makes our country great. You know?
I would certainly agree with you.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, this country was developed and built on the the western frontier and you know, moving out and developing land and having cattle and you said having the freedom and independence to do what you wanted to do.
Exactly.
And be productive for America.
You know, if you're willing to work, I think in America you can still become anything you want. The American dream is alive and well.
I mean, look at both of us. Look at both of us.
Exactly.
I mean, we are achieving our dreams.
We are achieving our dreams, and I feel so lucky and fortunate. And of course, I think we're lucky and fortunate to be in this country, and of course, today here in Lexington, Kentucky.
Well, like I said, I can't say enough how glad I am this visit is here. And as I told Kentucky officials back in December when Tootie came, we want to do everything possible to keep the road to the horse here and to expand it.
Well, thank you so much. You know, we appreciate you more than you know, not only for your help here at Road to the Horse, but what you do on an everyday basis. You're a shining example of Americana. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Hold you to that colonelship.
Well, we'll see what we're going to do in the coming years. We'll see what we can do on that, okay?
All right,
Thank you very much.
All right, Senator Frederick Thomas, thank you so much. You know, there's so much going on here in Lexington, and this event is just breathes, and it has a heartbeat of its own. And you know, I feel so lucky to be a part of it. You know, living the cowboy dream. And you know, when you talk about the cowboy dream, you know, we have Kate Newbert here. We had Brian Newbert in here, but you know, a guy that I've got a chance to get to know, who's just a heck of a hand and a whale of a cowboy, a real horseman. And I think he's a guy that needs to be a competitor at Road the Horse. Let's bring in Luke Newbert right here. Come on in, Luke. You know, talking about that, you know, the first time we worked together was we did an event down there, the Horsemen's Reunion in California, and we started Colts together. Man, that was a blast.
Well, it sure was. Yeah, it was just a good time and a bunch of good people, and it was just a good time. Yeah.
Well, you know, you grew up around this stuff. Your dad, Brian Newbert, and he's I call one of the original clinicians and guys that kind of spread the word of you know, of Ray Hunt and all the Dorrance brothers and that type of stuff. So you kind of grew up around that from the very beginning.
Yeah, that's just what I grew up with. You know, my dad was a cowboy when I was a little kid, and then he wanted to learn more about the horses and be around horses more. So. He kind of quit cowboying and went to just work with horses only. And so when we were little kids, we were around it a lot. Like, that's just what we did.
You know, I've seen you work, and you're as good as anybody that's really probably ever been at this event. But if they invited you to come be a participant, a contestant at Road the Horse, would you do it?
I'd have to surely consider it.
You know, I would. What do you think's the toughest part of going out there? In other words, different from what we do at home?
Well, just from watching. This is the first time I've seen it. Yeah. So just from watching and that, I would say getting that much done and getting them in that short a time and getting it ready for the obstacles on the end the third day there and that. You know, you got to have them with you pretty good.
You got.
You know,
really
you'd have to have done your homework and you know. Like, if you don't, it's going to show.
Oh, man, if you leave some holes in there, it's going to show up. Well, you know, you're the pen wrangler for your sister, Kate. She came out on top yesterday, you know, but it's a horse race. There's just a few points separating all four contestants. How did you think things went yesterday, and what did you think of that horse that was maybe good or bad?
Well, she picked that horse because we wanted to have enough horse for the final round. You know, I didn't want to run out of horse, and then it's a lot in a short period of time, and so I wanted to have enough horse, and so that's a little more horse than some of the other ones. Maybe I didn't get to watch the other girls as much because they're staying pretty focused there, but you know, I thought she got a lot done, and it should be a lot better today.
What was the toughest part of that horse, you think? You know, that horse wanted to fight a little bit with his head. And,
yeah, it was a little hard for her to get her halter on and just get her bridle on. He was just a little avoidant, you know, there, and it was a little difficult there, but once you got hold of him and that, he got a lot better. He had some feel, you know, I like that.
He really did from the very beginning. When she'd pick up, she just had that loop around his neck. Well, that son of a gun had come off that field, so I think,
for sure.
You know, now just, and I'm going to ask Kate this too, but, you know, she went right to the snaffle bit, but I'm going to ask you, I'm just wondering if that horse might do better with a little like loping hackamore, because he was fighting there. I don't know what have y'all talked about
We
that?
have talked about it and
Did
gone
you?
back and forth a little bit. We went over the same thing in our head too. We just contemplated. Well, we might just put a hackamore and go with that, and because he just was a little bit hard for him to take a snaffle,
And it is hard in the beginning. The year I won, I started with a snaffle, and I just said this is not going to work, and I went to just a straight little lope rope, and the son gun took me to the championship that year. So
well,
you never know.
Yeah,
so.
I can see that. We've talked about the same
Well,
thing.
look, you're living pretty close to me. You and me are going to get together and do some riding together. In the meantime, I'm going to be watching you. I'll be down on the floor, and we'll visit some more. Guys,
good.
and that guy you're going to see more of, Luke Newbert, right there. Well, Luke's such a great guy, and man, all cowboy. And talking about cowboy, let me bring my compadre in. Right, is this guy sleeping? Were you sleeping late, or what's the deal right there? We had the dogs come in yesterday because you were a little late, and now here he is today.
Yeah.
So what is the problem there?
Well, mate, between the new baby, it's not that I was late getting up. I've been up since 4. But
you weren't breastfeeding.
I don't have any. I got nothing to that.
Let me get you in your pilot seat over here. I got to tell you really missed out. Let me tell you why. I had Tootie in here first, and then I had the senator in here, and I told him.
How was that?
Well, it was wonderful, and he's a great guy. But I asked him about he made Tootie the governor made Tootie a colonel of Kentucky. I was asking if he could make me a captain, and you'd settle for being a private.
I could only imagine the orders that I'd get.
Yes, you would. So, well, you know what? We've been talking about the event, and what an exciting day it was yesterday. And I got a chance to talk with Luke a little bit and got some insight what's going on with him and Kate. But talking about Kate, we got Kate Newbert right now, one of the contestants. So come on in, Kate.
Good morning, Kate.
Hey.
Good morning, guys. How we doing?
Get any sleep last night?
Oh, yeah.
You did sleep?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, come on. It had to be on your mind a lot, wasn't it?
Well, I had plenty to think about, but no, I got some good rest.
Well, right now you're in first place, but it's still a horse race, and there's only about 30 points, 35 points separating first from the girl that's in fourth, which is Rachel Valentine. And I was just sitting here talking to your brother Luke, who's your pen wrangler. And again, we were talking about, I asked him if y'all had considered maybe going to a loping hackamore or rope hackamore or something, because that horse was heady. He said, yeah, you did visit about that.
Yeah, we did visit about that, and I'm set up for that. I'm kind of
maybe going to give it a try.
Even if I work with him with the snaffle again, to begin with, he might go better in a hackamore. So
yeah, I think he might go. So again, that horse, he was. Now, you didn't actually get on that horse and ride him yesterday.
No, I started to put some weight on that saddle, and I just didn't have enough time to get there. But I was able to drive him around a little bit and get some bend and some flexibility going. Gonna need a little bit more of that, but what I did with the snaffle and driving him, hopefully that'll translate real well when I do
Kate,
get up on his back.
I got a couple of questions on that, because I'm a huge fan of driving horses and the long reining deal. Can you tell us a little bit about what that would look like maybe at home when you were working a colt? Like, would you go that far like on day one? Would you tell us a little bit about like that part of your program?
It's not been a big part of my program over the long term. This past winter, I worked with a friend that has some of our 2-year-olds now, and Philip Rawls, and he has done a lot of that. He's actually worked with some Australian guys that he's spent some time doing that, and he's got a lot of different tools like that are good. And he said, he showed me some stuff, and he said, I think this might be, help you kind of break things up, because during this time frame we have a lot to put on these colts.
Sure.
And if we can break it up and make it easier for them to understand, then it helps a lot. So we work together and kind of playing with that, and it's been really fun for me learning kind of a new, little new tool like that.
Sure.
But yeah, for sure, if I was at home, you know, I would probably just spend more time with kind of sacking that horse out. You know, I don't feel like I completely got him
that
sacked
was one
out.
thing
So
that I liked when you kind of went ahead and freed him up with the flag. You know, I call that breaking through. You know, I liked it when you got a little more assertive with that flag.
Yeah.
I felt like he needed that because he was still kind of stiff and carrying some anxiety around with him. I felt like he needed that a little bit more. So I think that's going to help him. You're probably planning on doing a little bit more of that this morning.
yeah,
today.
Today, I'm really gonna focus on that, and that course kind of needs to break through for me.
He does
you know,
need
to
break
get to
through,
where I want to be.
loosen up a little bit,
I've got some work to do on him.
Yeah.
So.
You know, sometimes I like just walking those tight circles and get them to break free, like in that rib cage, in their neck, you know, walking, pushing that hip, you know, and then going back that other way and taking the brace out of him because he's a little bracey
He's
right
a little
now.
bracey, and it's that first contact with that horse.
Yes.
You know, and I was able to do that a lot of times yesterday, and hopefully he slept well and thought about that and kind of soaked in, you know.
You know, Dan and I were standing next to each other down there on the floor, but when you first caught that horse, I remember you just had a loop around his neck. He was pretty feeling like when you'd pick up, he'd kind of come, and that part was nice. So that's what made me think about that Hackmore maybe being better because he's not used to, again, you know, conditioning anything in his mouth right
Yeah,
now.
He's got some feel, but he was a little head shy. And
Yes,
that's what made it tough. It took me a while to get my halter on.
I remember, yeah.
And the other thing about that horse, you know, kind of was talking over it at dinner and thinking about it and the way that he reacts, and he's tougher on one side, and I always want to think about the balance, you know, left and right with those horses.
Both ways, you bet.
He didn't come through as good to the right, and I told my dad, I said, you know, I didn't check that horse for wolf teeth. You know,
Absolutely.
I mean that's a thought, and that's another reason why.
Go to that Hackamore.
Maybe, you know, you might have something. He's kind of a mature horse.
Well, you know, those 3-year-olds, their teeth that's the toughest year with the teeth, and so those
they can
teeth
really
be
bug them. You know,
problem right
we
there.
forget about that. You know, that's part of something we go through in their 2-year-old year when we're working with them is checking their teeth and making sure nothing's bugging them. You know, and so.
You know, that year I won, I put my fingers up, and I could tell his teeth were bad.
They were sharp.
And that was one reason I went to that Hackmore, and it worked good for me. I'm not saying it would for you, but you know, who's to say?
Yeah.
You might want to try something different.
Yeah, I think that's a good thought, and you know, that horse does have some feel, and he's got a nice long neck.
Yeah,
and so
he
it's
does. I think he's
leverage-wise,
one
I
of the
might
best
be
made
okay
horses.
with a Hackamore, you know.
The 4 out there, I like the way he's made.
And he's a good traveler.
He travels
he
good.
He floats
He's
around
got
there.
Some power and some forward movement. I think one other thing before we let you go, what did your dad, Brian?
Yeah, that's what I was. As soon as Kate mentioned that, I was I was wondering how.
Such a master, you know.
Imagine sitting around that table.
Oh,
right.
I'd like to.
Wouldn't that have been good?
So what Brian had to say?
Well, he was happy overall. He kind of just noted. He said, thinking through what he would have done different. He said, I might not have spent as much time on his face right away, but he said, I know why you were doing it. You know, because.
Well, you don't want to make an issue out of it either, you know.
You don't want to make an issue, but I was real happy when I started with the flag on his face.
Yeah,
he settled in real
I
fast.
remember that, yeah.
Because some of those ones that are head shy, when you start approaching with the flag, man, that can be a long battle.
Be very tough.
You know, that can be a lot to bite off. So I was real happy that he settled in there, and I hope he thinks better today.
I think he's going to, but right now you're looking good, sitting first place out there. You couldn't ask for more after the first go. So. But, hey, you're doing a masterful job, and we wish you all the luck today. We'll be right down on the floor watching. So.
Thanks very much.
Look
Good
forward to seeing you out there, Kate.
All right, stick with it. So, okay. Well, I tell you what, she's such a hand and.
Cool customer.
Oh, cool as a cucumber. Grew up doing it. So,
right.
Speaking of cool customers, here we go. Hang on. That's not yours. I got the special Craig Cameron coffee there. Dan, we got to class this place up a little bit. It's like Christmas. You put yours in there. There's a special Craig Cameron blend of coffee.
Oh, is that right?
Running around the Kentucky Horse Park.
I'm just gonna empty that.
You know what they call you know what they call this blend, don't you? It's called
whiskey?
It's called a Craig Cameron Wild Horse.
Oh, really? I had no idea.
Do you know what we have for breakfast back home? It's often referred to as a dingo's breakfast.
Well, let me hear what that is.
A drink of water and a look around.
I think we're supposed to laugh at that. Yeah, so okay.
But where he's from, they also just kind of pee wherever they want. They're just walking down the street.
Yeah.
Can I say that?
Do you know what time he got here today?
Does he know what time he got here today?
Yeah.
Well, listen, here's the thing. I feel at least that I was, at least a day earlier than you, though.
A day earlier.
Yeah, I mean, we were having production meetings and everything going on here at Road to the Horse.
What the hell are these guys talking about?
And you weren't even around.
You guys realize people are watching. We're not sitting in your living room having coffee and that stuff.
Well, you set it up like that.
Yeah.
Hey, I got to be honest with you. I've got the toughest job in the world. I really do.
Really?
Yeah.
How so?
Oh, come on. You weren't even at the production meeting.
I don't even know where to go from that. I just wanted to say, I just wanted everybody to know how tough my job. No, okay, but I do have an idea. I want everybody to tweet me because at the end of the day, I always have to talk to these girls and I always have to talk to these clinicians. I want to open something up and I want everybody to find me on social media, Matt L. West. And I want them to ask the questions today.
That's a good idea.
I want to know what you people at home are thinking. And
great.
when you're watching, I don't care, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, just Matt L. West. I want to ask your questions at some point today and find out what our fans are thinking when they're watching. Because it is hard for, you guys know, you've both been down there with me, and there's so much going on. We don't have the luxury of watching all four at the same time. And I miss a lot of things.
One of the judges asked me, any advice? I said, have eyes in the back of your head. Because,
and on the side of your head and your kneecaps.
I'm telling you got to be rocking and rolling all the time. And action is happening every minute in every direction, north, east, south, and west. But it was an action-packed yesterday.
And I don't know if you guys have already talked about Vicky today. And about how much pain she's in a little bit.
I have talked about her a little bit. I haven't talked to her yet this morning, but I know, again, there's going to be no backup in that girl. She has to ride one-handed, but I know she's got to be in some pain.
She's got to be in a lot of pain. I missed the whole thing. I missed when it happened because I was over talking to somebody and looking at another round pin, doing an interview.
When she walked out, after getting to spend, a short amount of time with Vicky, I was like, man, that seemed kind of odd how she just got up. And she said, she told me there yesterday afternoon, she was to the point where she was seeing stars, couldn't hear, and was just, when you get that cold, clammy feeling when she came out of that round pen.
Yeah. Well, she's got a chronic back shoulder, and when she went to push off, the thing popped out, and then she just went down because she had no strength there. So. Yeah, that is painful. I've had a dislocated shoulder, and it hurts. And until they get it back in, it's pretty dang tough.
So instead of you guys sitting up here telling old rewrite stories about back in your day, okay? Here's what I'm gonna. Not only did I bring gifts, but I'm gonna make this thing a whole. I'm gonna break. Just watch, Patty. Patty, come here. So I'm gonna class this place up a little bit, not just with the mugs. But I'm gonna bring in a beautiful lady.
It's classed up as soon as you got up. Yeah.
And I'm gonna get out of the way so you guys can just follow her lead, okay?
Hey, Patty, how are you?
Hi, babies. How are you?
We're good. We're doing good. And again, it's great to have you here. She's kind of the backbone back here, keeping everything running, and you're every place at once.
Well, it's a lot of fun, but I didn't come here to talk about that. I came here to talk about why I've been able to be here at Road to the Horse. The reason that I'm here at Road to the Horse is because all my life I've tried to find the youngest, smartest person in the universe that could make me look good. And right now...
Just so you know, that's not you.
Craig understands it completely, that you want to find younger, smarter.
I don't think it's going to be you either.
No, because it's going to be a girl, because that's what this whole deal is about. And over the last 3 days, I have run into a young lady that I think is the bomb. And she is truly what this is built on. This is a 19-year-old woman that's worldly. She's been and done so many things. And this guy over here was smart enough to put her on his team. So what I want to do is have the honor of bringing Katie in here and letting her tell you about the behind-the-scenes feel from the deal. I've coached her a little bit, and I said, you just got to pretend like Dan is not your boss, because this whole thing is built on younger, smarter. And our industry, as what Tootie's done, is showing us about the younger, smarter women in our industry. But here's a 19-year-old that is really making Dan James's deal click.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to bring her on and let y'all visit with her. So, that being said, let me put Katie right here.
All right, come on in, Katie.
I think I've met you before.
Yeah, no, you. I just hadn't seen you up here before. Of course, you know this character, Craig.
Oh, yeah, she helped me out with my horse when I did my demo the other day, and boy, she's really on top of things.
She is. Man, I tell you right now, like all the meetings that we've been doing, Katie comes in there, and she has us all organized from first thing in the morning to the end of the day.
You know, he was late today. What happened there?
That was all on him. I had it written down.
Wow, just straight under the bus.
A lot of people want to ask you, you know, first they're going to want to know how you got hooked up with Dan James, and after that, what is your job?
Well, I've been watching Dan since I was in nappies, basically. Not to make you feel old or anything.
Where are you from?
From Australia, obviously,
Okay.
yeah. No, I've been watching the double Dans since I was young, and always with my sister we tried to do the Roman riding and stuff. It didn't go as well as those two can do it, but someone that I've really looked up to my entire life, like just the amount of focus and the way that he treats horses is just incredible. It's amazing to learn from him and to even just watch here and be here. It's incredible, yeah. Such an amazing
He does a great
competition.
job. I got to give him credit. So,
Absolutely, yeah.
And so how'd you get hooked up, though? Because people, like a lot of people want to know, how do I get to be apprentice for one of these guys? So how did you get that accomplished?
And it's the same like with any amazing trainer, just put yourself out there. Like
Exactly.
we just, Rain Dan asked him if we could come down and just learn and stuff, and then we were honored enough to be asked a job and stay there. So but for any young person, like it's just really important that if you want to, you know, speak to someone, meet Stacey Westfall, meet any trainer that you look up to, just put yourself out there, be confident, speak to them, and that's the best way to learn.
I think that's really great advice, because some people are so bashful, so timid. Oh, wow, how'd they do that? And they always sit on the sidelines. How'd they get that? Well, you know, you got to have some tenacity. You know, and the first time somebody tells you no, you can't let that stop you.
No way.
But I think the other thing, though, that comes with that, and I know that you've experienced and had a lot of people over the years, Craig, that have come through and helped you out and worked for you, is they've got to come and do exactly what Katie said, but then they've got to be able to back it up. They've got to be able to have that work ethic, you know, being down there and being the first one there, last one to leave. And that's something that Katie and the rest of the crew have been showing. Katie's boyfriend Phil's, of course, here with us. And then we have Sky and Josh and Kim. And all five of those people, I can say that right now, some of the best young people I've ever had come help us out. And it's, you know, but again, it comes down to some of those important qualities like the work ethic. I think you can have a lot of talent, but if you don't have that work ethic,
I think that's where it's all at. You got to be willing to put in the work, and you know, you got to start at the bottom. I mean, you got to be able to do everything from change a tire to clean pins. You know, doctor horses, get up in the middle of the night, do the traveling. I mean, you know, there's a lot of things involved. You don't start at the top. You got to be willing to start at the bottom and work your way up. And you know, if you have the work ethic, I think it can take you just about anywhere where you want to go.
Absolutely. You don't have to be the best at it, just give it a go and put your all into it.
What is the you know, I was fortunate enough, I went out to Dan's new place there in right outside of Lexington here. Incredible facility. I was really impressed. And so what is your favorite part of the new ranch out there, son?
I love the arena. I love it, Dan's a bit of a racehorse trainer as well, so we've had a little filly that we've been practicing a little bit of lengthening out and striding. And I was on this racehorse, and she can go flat down that fence, and the arena is just so amazing. That footing is so good.
Well, I saw him working on the footing yesterday.
Yeah.
You were really working on just making a sliding track on one side right there, fixing the
that's
footing.
right.
But we talked about the footing, how in the area that particular arena is known, just people love the footing in that particular arena.
Yeah, that Martin Collins footing that they have, which is a synthetic type surface, it's incredible to ride now. Obviously, you know, stopping on it can be a little tricky, but we've put in that slide track, so it's very multidisciplined now.
Yeah, man, that's incredible. Now, do you get to do a lot of riding over at Dan's?
Yeah, we do. We're very, very lucky. He's amazing in that he teaches us as well as he teaches the horses. So we're learning at the same time the horses are learning, which is really special.
You know, he's a master from the ground and from the saddle. So you're kind of getting all aspects there.
We're very lucky, aren't we?
Yeah, you are lucky.
Yeah,
so,
and it's a beautiful place.
now, do you cook over there at the ranch? Or,
yeah, sometimes. I suppose we better eat, better we?
Now, here's the question that I think we need to ask now. Is Dan easy to work for, or sometimes can he just be a real tyrant?
Dreadful, absolutely dreadful. No, best person I've ever worked for, I could say. Yeah,
I can believe that. So.
Yeah,
Well,
let's learn.
I tell you what, it's a pleasure, and I'm going to tell you, from the first time I met you, I could tell you were on top of your game, and again. She helped me with the horse. She was right there to give me a hand to getting that horse ready and everything.
Thank you.
Again, you're lucky to have her, and he's lucky to have you. So
you're too bad.
Thank you very much.
We'll see you out the back there a little bit later on.
See you.
Well, she's a good hand.
Yeah, we're, like I said, super lucky. And, you know, talking about other Australians, the person I need to give a big shout out to this morning is, of course, my partner in Double Down Horsemanship, Dan Steers, who has been the pen wrangler, Road to the Horse competitor. Mate, I know you're back there wishing that you're over here. So big shout out to you and the family back home in Australia.
Hey, man, we're trying to keep this guy in line over here. It's a tough job. We could use you pen wrangling just for this job. So, but you know, right now we're going to move to another one of the competitors, Sarah Dawson, who had we felt like it was a pretty tough horse yesterday, and she did a good job. Here you are, you're back. Let me ask you something. Did you sleep good last night?
I did sleep good.
You did sleep
really?
good?
Yeah.
Man.
Are you sure? Did you really?
How do my eyes look?
They look clear and clean.
Yeah.
today,
Awesome, awesome, good.
Well, you know, it was an exciting day yesterday, and I got to visit with you a little bit. You said in spite of that horse being a little tough, you said you still like the horse. I know you love the bloodline, and so what is your game plan today?
Hopefully pick off right where we left off yesterday, because I really like where we left him yesterday. Probably do a lot of stuff with obstacles today.
Yeah.
And not necessarily working on the obstacles in particular, but just have him in there while I'm doing some other things, just because he wants to be real touchy about that. And so just kind of work him around those obstacles like they're not even there, and to hopefully just kind of get him over it by not really even working on it.
You know, this horse acting tough, are you going to kind of put him to work a little bit today on that, or are you just going to maybe use the obstacles to get his mind on something different with the forward movement like that?
Yeah, exactly. I want to get him saddled early today. I don't want to waste very much time in getting him saddled.
Carrying that, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. And so we'll get him saddled and then start moving him around in and around those obstacles, just so, yeah, he does have something to think about, and he's always having to move and maneuver around those obstacles just so he gets used to them.
Well, you know, one of the things like of all the horses now you're not necessarily a colt starter by trade, although you've probably started quite a few young horses. Like, how does this horse compare, like caliber wise, as far as toughness to you of all the young horses you've started?
He's very, very similar to the horses that we start at home. I mean, he's kind of bred like all the ones we start.
Yeah.
They're thinkers. They're smart. They're not just
reactive.
Exactly, and that's how we want him to be. Whether that's going to suit this deal, I don't know, but I sure like him. And as far as the caliber of horse he is, I really like the caliber of horse he is. I mean, just the way he moves around and the way he kind of he'll plant his feet and look at you. And
he does. He sort of postures.
So you kind of like picture of how he'd be on a cow, and he's a fun horse. I'm thinking about buying him, actually. We'll see.
You know what? I talked to Tootie this morning right here at the beginning of the show, before Dan got here. Was about, it would be so cool. I said, what if Sarah could win this event, then take that horse and win in the Rain Cow horse? That would be fun. Something.
That'd be fun.
Something, yeah.
He'd probably be a little behind for the futurity, but for the derbies, if he turned out to be a good horse, he could do some derby stuff.
Well, you know, when you talk about one of the reasons you picked this horse, I mean, you need a horse with some electricity, you know, out there, or they're not going to make it in the event that you work. So you're really looking down the road when you picked this horse.
I was this time around. I think there were other horses out there that I saw that might have suited this competition a little bit better, and even talking with some other people, we talked about, that this horse over here, he would probably really suit this competition. but I got stuck on him, and I really wanted him, and so I picked him.
And you like the bloodline a lot.
I do. I love the WRs. We've had a lot of them over the years. I think we have 12 of them at our house right now, actually.
Good. Wow.
We really like them, so they're good horses.
I mean, that would be super exciting to see go from this event and to take that colt and go on with him. I mean, I think that I often find a lot of people ask about, what's it really like for these colts after they get started at this event?
Right.
And, I know that from personal experience, like, for example, Swampy that's gone on to be such a great demonstration horse, that to me, that just keeps driving home the fact that, we might be using a short amount of time out here, but that's not taking away from what all of us, have gone out to do, is to give these horses a great start, which is like what you're doing here right now.
Yeah, no, Swampy's been a great ambassador for that. I think he's on a shirt in the Road to the Horse booth right now. Yeah.
Well, the whole idea is to get the horse relaxed, comfortable, gain confidence, gain trust, gain respect. Even though it's a short period of time, it's amazing what we get done. And these horses, they're not really troubled by it. I mean, these horses, when you squeeze them with the saddle, I mean, it's their nature to buck.
And that's a new feeling.
Yeah, it's instinctual, and it's instinct what's in those horses. So again, we're not out to take that away from them. We'll just let them figure out it's not going to hurt them.
But I did really enjoy watching you work off your ridden horse yesterday, or your pony horse. I thought that was really good timing on your behalf at the moments that you brought that that saddle horse in. I thought that was pretty neat, because I felt like it was pretty clear as to why that you were doing it, and you kind of solved quite a few problems, I thought, there with using that saddle horse.
Yeah, it was really nice that they let us use those this year. I remember last time I did it, I don't think that year we were allowed to use them, but at home we use the pony horse a lot, so it was nice.
Absolutely. I really believe in that. It's something I really love doing, and I like, you do something I like. I like getting those horses in front of me, almost lunging them from horseback. And to me, when you bring the horse in, I think the horse likes it, because they're such strong herd animals. They feel a little more comfortable when that other horse is in there, and of course you get to get above them and that type of thing. So I think it goes a long way having the horse, and that's the way we naturally do it. So I'm glad Tootie has made some of those adjustments.
Yeah, it's been nice. I think a person's got to be careful when they do it, and that they don't get that horse too hooked onto that pony horse, to where when that pony horse leaves, then all that horse thinks about that is it that other horse, and so you got to be a little bit careful about that. But
how's Richard doing on as far as the pen wrangler deal?
He's good. We called him about 10 minutes ago, and he's sleeping. So yeah, he's pretty relaxed.
Wow,
he is relaxed, so that's good. So all right, but he was like Johnny on the spot, jumping over the fence.
I noticed he took off when the horse started bucking. He was gone.
He was backing up. Well, that certainly got everybody's attention. But you know what? I know you're going to work him down. You'll wait till he's ready, and obviously going to do a good job. I think you're sitting third, not more than 35 points. I think probably separates last from first. So it's a horse race right now, and we're wishing you the very best.
Thank you very much.
Can't wait to see you out there again later, Sarah.
Okay, sounds good.
Sarah Dawson. Well, she's such a cool customer. All these girls are. They're so relaxed and telling me that they're sleeping. It's not that, like when I was competing, it's not that I was nervous, but I just had it on my mind.
Oh man, 100%.
My mind's just ticking. So keeps you awake a little bit. So.
I totally agree. I've been just amazed at how relaxed and cool these girls have been, not just this morning, but through the whole deal yesterday.
Yeah, they're loose and cool, and they got a lot of experience, and so it's looking good. But as we move on, we talk about how taxing this event is, how you have to be physically fit. I actually work out hard year round anyway, but I really work out when I'm going to compete here. But right now we're going to bring Spanky Stevens in, and he's one of our athletic trainer for the Road to the Horse. Spanky, this is a tough event. This is physically demanding.
Well, sure it is.
It is.
It is, and they look at the female as not able to withstand what a male could stand, but all you had to do was watch yesterday.
Yeah.
And see the command that they demanded over the horses.
Absolutely.
And it's taxing on them, because they're constantly moving. They're
it's a physical event.
It is a physical event, because all you had to do is watch when they put the saddle on them. A couple of them yesterday, and they went around. Then one got on. 5 minutes later, she was riding him around the circle. So, you know, it's truly amazing. And I really appreciate Tootie inviting me here to look after the four girls.
How are they? Have you talked to Vicki Wilson any today?
No, I saw her last night.
Yeah.
And she had a previous injury to that shoulder. She posteriorly dislocated me and went out the back. Yeah. And the shoulder has a cup on it, and it's really hard to do that.
Out the back.
At the back, it's more dislocations like come out the front.
Yeah.
But she felt it yesterday as she was laying across the horse, and then she pushed herself up.
Right. Yeah.
And then the horse came out when she was fully extended. And just the weight of the horse was enough to and the momentum and stuff like that. So it didn't sublux again out the back, but it moved enough to cause a lot of pain and stuff like that.
Well, I hope she's going to be all right, and hopefully we'll get an update on her pretty quickly. You know, all these girls, if you look at them, they're all pretty fit, you know, out there. They seem, you know, these are girls that ride every day, all the time. So, again, I think they're up for the task.
Well, you know, they're elite athletes.
Yeah.
And elite athletes take care of themselves. I don't care what sport it is, whether it's breaking horses or whether it's you know, you're in the NFL or college or even, you know, wherever elite athletes, you know, take a guy like Michael Phelps, you know, the amount of training and lifting and swimming and all the things that they do. If you've ever worked, I was the head trainer at the University of Texas for 24 of my 33 years there.
I'll be darned, yeah.
And we had 17 gold medal winners in swimming alone while I was there. And the training that those young men and young ladies go through.
Listen to this. I did triathletes for a while, and I got invited to come work out with the swim team at UT. I bet you were there at that time.
Actually. Depending on what year it was, I retired in 2000.
And, well, that was before that. I tell you what year it was. It was probably 85 or
AD.
something.
Oh, yeah. And, AD? Yeah.
I'm throwing the gauntlet down. You and me at Road to the Horse. All right. I'm ready to ride against
I was born in AD myself. So.
Anyway, but I went and worked out with the swim team, and it was tough right there.
Yeah, that's not you didn't do the morning workout before they went over in
the
afternoon.
No, I came in the afternoons.
Well, at 5:30 every morning.
That's a little earlier.
At 5:30 in the morning, they have these little, what I call rollerblades. It's two wheels on the side of a board, okay? And the board is
sounds technical.
No, it's pretty simple. With 2x4, and they get on their knees and push themselves vertical out and go up the ramps of the football stadium.
Oh God, yeah. No, I did not do that.
That's what I figured.
Spank, I did not do that.
And so it's but elite athletes, especially when
you got to eat right, you got to train right, and you got to stay fit mentally as well.
Well, that's you believe that you can.
You got to believe.
If you don't, in each of those girls, you're just hanging around them before the competition.
That's why I think that makes this one of the most unique sports when it comes to horses, because you have the athletic ability of the rider, their fitness, and all that part, and then you've got the same for the horse. Yep. So I think that what makes the equestrian or Western style just such an interesting part in sport in general is because of those. You're bringing two athletes together that can't communicate via words.
That's right.
Right, and when you're trying to get we're sitting here 3 feet apart, communicating, but my heartbeat's registering in your brain, and yours is registering in mine, and we don't know that, but that's that interconnection that people have and stuff like that. And it was like yesterday was like right before we went 3 national championships in football alone, but we won many other national championships in other sports and stuff like that. And the locker room before the big game, you know, it's like, you know, okay, they just mentally prepare themselves.
You got to be mentally prepared.
You know, and when y'all did an interview with them before they went down, I walked over here with them, and they were going out to pick their horses, okay? And you could tell it was game on.
It was game on. But you know, the girls came through in shining colors, and listen, I think they feel good knowing you're back there for them if they need you, and that's a big part of it. And you know, Road to the Horse is growing and getting better with people like Spanky here. And Spanky, we appreciate you stopping by.
I got one real quick question. Somebody wanted to know who your girlfriend was.
Patty Colbert. I think she's a mess, and she's a handful for sure. You had her on here earlier, so I know you two guys know it.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming in, mate.
Having me here.
We'll see you down on the floor.
I'll be up there.
Well, what a great guy, and you know, it is good to have somebody like him here. I think it makes the girls feel better, but we talk about that mental aspect, and I like what you were saying about the 2 athletes. But you know, what's interesting about horsemanship, what's different than football or baseball or tennis, is we're dealing with another living, breathing, thinking, decision-making animal, and you can't communicate with words. You got to communicate with a feel that's physical, mental, emotional, mind, body, and spirit, and it takes an art form to do it.
And isn't it cool, like, because we see the times when we're totally going opposite directions,
Absolutely,
like to the point of being physically, you know, falling off, getting bucked off. But then when you have that moment when everything aligns for both horse and rider, I mean, then it's just, you know.
Well, you know, just you out there communicating with 5 horses at one time, no bridle, nothing like that, and that's truly through a feel and repetition, and you know, that's incredible stuff, and I'll cease to enjoy it. I don't miss an opportunity to watch you every time I get a chance.
I appreciate that. Thanks, mate. Well, I know we've got somebody else to bring in this morning. Great guy called Chewy. Chewy, why don't you come and join us?
Come on in. This guy did an amazing documentary, Chewy, and why don't you tell us a little bit about that documentary, you know, talking about the Mexican vaquero way with the modern training and stuff like that. What a great documentary it was.
Thank you. What I will try to do is follow the roots, you know, for the vaquero, for all the old ways to train horses, all the Spanish way. And I really enjoy to work with this kind of horses, like the Wild Mustangs, and try to get in big all the foundation, you know.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, one thing I love is tradition, you know.
Tradition,
and you know, I've been down to Mexico quite a few times, and I love going down there. Things sometimes it's a little bit like going back in time, which I love, but guys like you are bringing the best of horsemanship to that tradition. I love that. And so again, people are kind of locking on and listening and watching what you're doing.
Yes, it's really neat, you know, to follow all the old ways, you know, how we train horses, and it's big, you know. I like to just keep follow all the rules.
So can you do the roping as well?
Yes, I like to do all the tricks roping, all like.
Well, I wish you'd have brought your rope up here. I love that. So yeah.
I wish to have it too, but you know.
Well, we might have to get him to do that. But, but you know, like, let me ask you something. Like, do you ever use the 100-foot riata or ever?
Yes, we use different lengths.
100 feet. Yeah.
Different lengths of ropes, you know.
Depending on what you're doing.
Yeah, it depends. And sometimes we use like 120 feet to do different actives, you know.
Yeah.
And we use 65 and 20, 35.
You know, one time Jerry Diaz had me coil up a 100-foot riata. My arm was tired just after coiling, and that was a handful right there.
Yes,
So.
you have your hands full, you know, and there's kind of, it's a challenge to have all the coils organized, you know, to the time do you feed all the coils.
So, Chewy, give us a little bit more insight. When you talk about the traditional ways of vaquero or, you know, the Spanish, tell us, like, what does that really entail? Like, what do you mean when you say the traditional ways? Because for a lot of us, you know, that maybe are from out of the country, for example, myself from Australia, I'd be really interested to know, what do you really mean when you say traditional ways? Tell us a little bit more detail about that.
You Australians are terrible ropers.
You are 100% right.
Yeah, they're great with the bullwhip, but don't ask them to rope. So.
Those horses, mine, they get to the point where they're like had enough, and they just stand there and they're just like, I feel so bad for you, just put it on.
I mean, when you and me competed at Rode the Horse, I was finally like, Dan, enough with the whips.
Well, traditional to me, like be a horseman.
Yeah.
There is a need when you start a coat, you start like in bosal.
Yeah, with the bosal.
Bosal, and you introduce the snaffle, and just keep going, like just getting different levels.
Similar, yeah.
Different levels, getting like a double rein or two reins together.
The two rein, you bet.
And you count the horse, yes, it can be really bridle, one hand bridle.
Yeah,
really
straight up in the bridle.
What kind of time frame would you be looking at that taking place?
So some horses, they are quick, they take over a year. Some horses take 3 or 4 years, you know, to get to the really soft mouth, you know.
I think that's a great answer. He's, you know, like any great horseman, depending on that particular horse, you're working with that horse as an individual.
Yes,
always,
yeah. I saw so many horses that are really hard in the mouth, you know. We can see the stiff. We like to see a horse that can be really soft.
Yes.
It can control different direction, you know, one hand and soft, light move, you know.
Was your dad a vaquero? Did you grow up that way?
Yes, we've been so lucky. We have a facility in Mexico. We have a ranch. So we always been using cattle, horses for working the ranch.
You know, one thing, whenever I've been around some of the Mexican style, I always notice, which I love, that the young guys, I mean guys just this high, they always got that rope in their hand from the very beginning. So if you carry that rope from the beginning, you really learn to use it.
Yes, because it's to us, you know, it's like our tool, you know, to work in the ranch.
Yes.
If you need to rope a cow or a calf or something, you know, it's more handy if you know how to rope.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely more.
That is so.
These guys are masters with the rope. It's amazing. Now, do you know Jerry Diaz?
Yes, I had the opportunity to bend with him a couple times in Madison.
Yeah.
And we spent time together in Texas too.
Yeah,
Jerry's a great
I love
guy.
watching you guys work. I'd love a chance to work with you sometime.
So this chance coming because you coming to Wisconsin, huh?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
So we go have the opportunity.
What, next month?
Are you gonna come?
Are you gonna be there? Oh my goodness!
You had a clinic, huh? For the wild, Idle Wild.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Wendy Wolf.
He probably knows more than I do. Yeah. One time somebody said, "When are you going to change the tip of your month on your website?" I said, "What is the tip of the month?" But you know, yes, I would love to work with you sometime. Seriously, you got to get me one of those good riatas to work with.
Well, I'm coming to watch you guys both. I want to see more about this rope stuff and get to see how Craig introduces a lot of those obstacles and different things to your horses. You do such a cool job on that.
Well, I appreciate the obstacles are good. And
I think you and I, we want to share the arena in Massachusetts.
All right.
There, see, you got to go.
Sounds
Jerry,
good.
Chewy, I know you've been busy. You're growing in great demand from your talent.
Thank you.
Keep it up. I look forward to working with you and riding with you.
It's my pleasure.
All right, mate. Take care.
Thank you.
All right, what a great guy. And, you know, again, I love that traditional stuff. And you watch those guys handle those ropes, and you know they've been doing it since they were kids, and that's how you get learning. That's how you get good.
Yeah. No, I wish that was one of the things that we had growing up with back home. In all seriousness, you know, how to rope, because especially coming over and you see the advantages, you know, to it. Not just catching a colt in the round pen or something, but, you know, especially working on the cattle stations and stuff like that.
Absolutely that. And, you know, using the different loops depending on what the horse is doing. It could be a backhand, a overhand, a underhand, a hula hand, you know, and, you know, I'm always working at that type of stuff like every good cowboy to get better. And I think that makes it fun. But, you know, you guys really are truly, you know, I was laughing about the whip, but y'all are masters with the whip. Sometimes what y'all doing with the whip, I'm like, dang.
Yeah,
man.
but you know what? Yeah. It's like, I guess, when you see the little kids over here with the rope.
Same deal with the whip.
I mean, they're back home with it. I mean, there's kids that are like, you know, 3, 4, 5-year-old that would make me look like an idiot. I mean, they're that good.
Well, you know, your mate that you won the international championship with, Guy McLean, right there. You know, that event, I actually had a talk with him and kind of, you know, after that first round and gave him some, kind of pepped him up, and he never forgot that. And you know what? He gave me one of his best whips, which I still have. Which
Is that right?
I'm practicing with. I need your help a little bit. So anyway, I want to say hi to Guy. And but you know, right now, let's bring an important guy up that's been with Road to the Horse a long time, and he has an important function. You know, he's the judge's steward, he's the remuda manager, and this is our good buddy over here getting his picture taken.
He's in the spotlight again.
Yeah, Stormy Mullins, come on in here, Stormy.
Craig Cameron and Don James.
Hey, mate, how are you?
This is our judge's steward, the remuda manager, but really you do more than that. It seems like you're like Patty Colbert. You're everywhere at once. I'm out here. You're a man of many hats at this event.
Yeah, Patty Colbert actually trained me along with Chris Cox the last 10 years.
Yeah.
So
well, you were Chris's pen wrangler a few times.
Yeah, 3 times.
Yeah. 3 times, yeah.
And I actually worked for Chris for 5 years every day, and before I went to the Mustang Heritage Foundation.
Right. Well, I tell you, people are going to want to know, again, like you're everywhere, but your main job here at Road to the Horse is
coordinating the judges.
Man, that seems like a tough job.
And that's a tough job. 5 judges. An event like this, there's lots of questions, and I'm kind of the liaison between management and judges and the clinicians, the judges, and then as remuda manager, I'm kind of in charge of the 4/6 horses, they're cowboys, and then how that relates to judging.
Well, you know, we got a great remuda here. We've talked about them a lot, you know, and how we didn't back off a lick just because it was girls. It's the same horses they would have brought for the men right here, because these are horse women right here, and it's a tough event. So these horses wouldn't have been a lick different if this had been all men out there.
Right, and I think we talked about that yesterday watching. I mean, that was 4 good horses, 4 good horse people out there doing it, and those girls did a great job.
In all the time that you've been watching, Stormy, I don't remember for the few times that I've had the opportunity to be here and see it, but I noticed that all the girls yesterday were able to get their horses kind of like halted, which I thought was kind of different than a lot of us have had in the past, where we've had to end up using a rope or something like along those lines.
It was interesting watching the Australians rope. So,
Back to that.
You know, I think you know, everybody says, oh, the horses must have been easy. They could have been, but also, you know, I taught ag for 27 years, so I had to deal with boys and girls in high school, learning process, and girls are a little more focused, so they probably went in.
And they're a little softer sometimes.
Softer, and they might have got the look quicker, but they did get it on quick.
You know, that's one reason sometimes I like hiring the girls, because they're not afraid to be quiet with those horses. But you know, those horses, and nobody can say those horses weren't tough. Once they got working, those horses were plenty tough.
They're plenty tough. There's a couple of them. I mean,
if I
was starting one, I might get him ready, and I'd say, Craig, I need you to get on for me.
You know, but you know, as we talk about the judging, you know, a lot of people don't know all the rules of the judging, but that we have 5 judges, but we're throwing out the high and low score, so it becomes very, very fair when we do that. So.
Right. I mean, for 4 contestants, having 5 judges throwing out that high and low score, I mean, there's not any more fair contest than that.
I don't think there is either. You know, you never know what the results are going to be, and a lot of people, you know, they're never going to agree with the scores. That's what makes it fun about any judged events. But you know, there's penalties levied out there sometimes we don't know about.
Right. That's probably hard for the crowd. The crowd reacts to what they've seen in the past, and you know, the rules have been tweaked over the years. There's some things that are the same, some things that are different,
which is good because we're always growing.
But the judges have been they've had the rules for probably 6 months.
Oh, yeah.
The contestants have the rules. They know them. We go over them, you know,
Some
2 days
of the
before the
penalties,
contest.
yeah, like, or when those pen wranglers go in there, they can only be in for a certain, like their time.
Right.
They can only be in for, what is the time that they can go in?
15 minutes total time.
Total time,
And,
in
yeah.
one session.
Yes.
That's right.
And
yeah.
they didn't use much yesterday, but you might see them a little more today,
Yeah.
but that is timed. And then another thing that the crowd doesn't know is there is a deduction on the pen wranglers. If the judge feels like the pen wrangler is
He's
using
coaching.
bad judgment or bad
Or
horsemanship,
too rough, or, yeah.
you know,
Okay.
there is a deduction.
What about how does the pen wrangler fit in terms? Can they coach that person
No.
out there? Okay, so that's something else.
Now they
that-
can coach when they both come outside.
Right.
But when they're separated, when that guy's working, he's supposed to be working, and all that wrangler does is hand him stuff.
Sure.
Or
And
things
then
like that.
when they're, and I love the fact that we can bring in the pen wrangler now, because it's more like we actually do
Yeah.
at home.
Yeah.
You know, and I've always wanted that, to see that happen. I'm glad about that, and I'm really glad about the fact that we can bring in another horse. Now there is a limit on that as well. Is that correct or incorrect?
No, there's no limit.
They can bring, but they
Yeah,
can only
it's-
do that for they can
2
do that
days.
2 days, yeah.
That's an awesome addition, though.
Yeah. And that's and again, you don't really think about it, but that's even a safety factor, because
Yeah.
at home, like you're saying,
Yeah.
if you need that horse, you're
You're
going to
dang
use it.
right.
If you need that person,
Well, I'm a
you'll-
big believer
yeah.
in both of them, and I like the way that we're tweaking the rules to make everything better, more authentic, and allowing the crowd to see exactly the best way to start these young horses.
Yeah.
So, well, so today, about the event, you and I visited down on the floor. You know, we got the best seat in the house
Yeah.
down there, but you know that there was a lot going on yesterday.
Oh yeah, it's tough to watch. I mean, you got to stay on your toes to watch.
You
Yeah.
dang right. You're looking just
Okay.
about everywhere out there.
But
so-
I've got to go. But before I leave, I want to introduce a friend.
Good.
This is Angel
Yeah.
Arraigui.
Angel.
I know.
¿Cómo
Good
está,
morning.
amigo? Bien, bien. Hi.
He's part of our Extreme Mustang Makeover family.
Okay.
And that's kind of what all of you guys have been
You
involved
betcha.
in that. So
Yeah.
he's going to take a few minutes.
Well,
Thank
tell
you.
us
I
what
see
you
I see a
did.
buckle on
Thank
there,
you,
Extreme
Tommy.
Makeover
Yeah.
buckle.
Yeah.
Makeover buckle. I won 2014 champion for a yearling competition in Pennsylvania, Charlottesville, Pennsylvania.
Tell us what you do on the yearling competition.
Well, first there's like a handling condition process
Yes.
going on, and then after that there's like an obstacle course,
Yeah.
and then later on we have like a freestyle where we can do whatever we want. That
Yeah.
we trained our little
Really
yearlings.
good. Yeah. And so did you grow up around the horses?
Yeah, I did. My dad, he Doroteo Hergi. My uncle is Chewy. So we have
Well,
a
yeah,
farm.
that's pretty good
Yeah.
lineage. Right
Yeah,
there.
right.
So we have a lot of horses. We work them and have fun with them, you know.
I gotta ask, can you rope?
Yeah, I can rope.
I bet you can rope.
I can also rope trick.
Yeah, man, I wish you'd brought. These guys didn't bring their ropes up, where we could do the rope tricks right
Yeah.
there. So now, how old are you now?
13.
Only 13. So,
Yeah.
and
That's-
what do you think about the colt starting event?
Well, it's pretty fun. Yesterday it was actually really intense of how there was a lot of bucking going on and everything. A lot of chaos going on.
Yeah, there was a lot of action. Now, someday, do you hope that maybe you could come out there and be one of the contestants?
Yeah, if I
You'd
get
like to
famous
do it.
enough.
If you
It
get-
looks like you're on your way to be doing that, mate.
Yeah.
So, listen, thanks so much for coming in and visiting with us this morning. We sure appreciate it.
Man, you're a cool
Thank you.
guy. Anytime you get down to Texas, you're welcome at my ranch anytime. I'll
Okay.
darn sure put you to work right there. So-
Okay.
all right, well, come see me sometime. Would you
Okay.
do that?
Yeah, I would.
All right. You keep that going. And you got a horse coming up for this year's in the Mustang Makeovers?
Next year.
Next year.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, well, you stick with it and come see us, all right?
Wait.
All right, mate.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay.
All right.
All right, man, that guy, now you talk about that kid look
Yeah.
you right in the eye, not shy. I mean, and you know, I bet
Those same kind of qualities that we were talking about earlier.
Pick up on that, right? You know the horse does the
Yeah.
same. He just picks up on that outgoing.
Absolutely.
Good, that guy gave me a good feel.
I agree.
And I bet when he gets around the horses, he does exactly the same thing.
I bet. Well, I think we've got a couple other guests here to bring in, so let's bring them in and meet these two girls.
All right,
morning,
Savannah,
girls. How are
Lodge,
you?
and Ann Costello.
Hi.
Okay, and so how are y'all doing here at this year's 2017 Road to the Horse?
Good.
And what do y'all do?
I do Western and English pleasure and contesting.
And where are you guys from?
Ohio.
Ohio. So
How old are you guys?
yeah.
I'm 16. I'm 13.
Okay.
And you ride horses?
Yep.
Are you learning by watching out there?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, we might as well ask them now. Now, who is your favorite? Who are you pulling for?
Vicky.
You're going, and why are you pulling for Vicky?
Because I like how she introduced the obstacles first, and then she just jumped on bareback
Now,
and was working with them.
before she went out there, was she your favorite or after the first round?
After she picked the horse.
Wow, cool.
Yeah,
And
good
who's
deal.
your favorite?
Rochelle.
You're going for Rochelle. You know, I thought Rochelle just ended like a champion.
Yeah.
You know, she was the only one that she actually walked, trot, and loped on a nice loose rein out there.
Yeah.
I thought she did a good job too. I really did. So, what else did you like about what she did?
Well, the horse trusted her at the first. Like the horse wasn't that scared of her, and then the horse started getting comfortable.
You know, that was the biggest horse in the remuda. Would you have chose that big old horse?
Yeah.
You would?
Would, wow.
Yeah. And which, did you like the horse Vicky chose?
Yeah.
Now, what about some of the other girls? What do you think about them, Kate and
They're
Sarah?
doing
They are doing
good. Yeah, I
good.
was kind of focused on Vicky.
Would you like to get on Sarah's horse?
Yeah,
You
that'd be
would
fun.
like to get on that one that bucks so hard. Have you
Man, these
started
guys
some
these
colts?
guys are pretty brave.
They're tough. Every girl was saying
Man.
yes. So, yeah. So have you started some colts?
No, not yet.
No, not
I
yet.
want to.
But you know, one of the best things you could do would be to just, watch what these girls are doing. I like it. And, hey, how many times have you been to Road to the Horse?
This is my second year.
Second.
This is my first.
And your
Oh wow, that's pretty cool. You guys will be sure enjoying this, and I bet for many more years to come, coming down here to watch.
Well, I tell you what. All right, so you're going to be pulling for Vicky. You're going to be pulling for Rochelle. All right, don't forget to applaud for the other gals.
We will.
So you think Vicky's going to win?
Hope so.
Yeah, I hope her shoulder's okay, don't you?
Yeah.
I do too. And you still think Rochelle's going to come on through? All right, well, girls, thanks for being here.
Enjoy the day.
Keep it going. Lead the fans up there, and we'll be looking for you guys later. Maybe as a contestant in the
Hopefully.
future. All right, thanks a bunch. Those are some good gals.
Yeah.
Boy, they're not afraid, are
I'm
they?
telling you, all of the girls that we've had come up here have just been such
Golly.
confident and having a good time here. We're talking about another lady that's here at Road to the Horse that has a huge job to do. Let's welcome Amy to come on in.
You know, this is Amy Morehouse, and I got known Amy a long time. And you talk about a cowboy lineage now. Your dad is Bob Morehouse.
He is.
Who was the big dog at the Pitchfork Ranch, one of the biggest and most traditional ranches in the world, probably.
Yes, sir.
And I got a chance to go do a colt starting at the Pitchforks.
Really?
And work with Bob, and Bob's a great guy. Not only a great cowboy and a great horseman, a great photographer.
Very.
So you grew up around just nothing but pure cowboys.
I grew up around pure cowboys, and
Pure.
they would even let me wear this red hat to go work cattle. So
As long as I've known Amy, I don't know how else to say, you dress pretty wild. Yeah.
I do. They're my costumes.
Yeah, they are. Well, I tell you what, so what is your job at Road to the Horse?
I did the designing and all the merchandise wear upstairs, so everybody needs to come and buy it. And if they're not here, buy it online. But it is going fast.
I was going to say, I
It's
heard
going
that
very
things
fast.
were going out the door pretty quickly. So for those of you that are wanting to get some stuff, they're going to have to get in pretty soon.
Hey, will you save me one of those little black T-shirts, a medium? I'm serious.
Where the magic happens. That's which one you want,
That's
isn't
the
it?
one. Will you
I
save
remember.
me
I
one?
will.
What
I'm
one
going to
is
put you
that
one
one?
back.
It says where the magic happens. You should say where the tardy guys live right there. So,
Yeah. And it's got the longitude and latitude of the
Yeah,
arena
those
because
are
that's where
really
it
good.
happens.
That's
Oh,
the
yeah.
most comfortable T-shirt. I
It
got
is.
one last year, so this
Oh,
year
yeah.
they added where the magic happens. So again, they can order. How can they get this stuff?
Well, if they're not here at the event, what's left over when we get home, we'll put it up online and they can order there. We've got great new baseball caps, lots of new sweatshirts. We have lots of bright
And
colors.
some hoodies too.
Oh, yeah, we have some hoodies.
Yeah.
We have some hoodies. We have it all.
You do have it all.
We have it all.
Look at this outfit she's
Yeah,
got on.
yeah, there's no-
I mean,
no
they got
missing
the
Amy.
right girl for the wardrobe.
I kind of feel like Elvis today instead of a cowgirl.
Yeah, you know what? The only way you get away with all that is that she grew up on the Pitchfork Ranch.
I did.
Cowgirl right here.
Most people don't know that I can ride.
Oh, man.
They think I'm a dime store one instead of a real cowgirl.
Well, she is the real deal, and I've been fortunate enough to know you for a long time, and I never know what she's going to be wearing. Are you still riding these days?
Well, my big dun horse, Tex, the daddy rode forever.
Yeah.
He passed away last year.
Oh,
Actually, he was in my
kidding me.
wedding. He went with the groomsmen. He was in my wedding.
Really?
My horse was in my wedding.
I love that horse.
He was a horse. I miss him every day, and since then I haven't found another one that I love quite as much as I loved him. So I'm working on it.
And how's Bob doing? What's he doing these days?
Oh, Bob's a full-time job. Everybody asks me if I have children. I said, sure I do. He's 70 and his name is Bob.
And of course, your Uncle Tom.
Uncle Tom.
I love Tom Morehouse. And those guys are, again, I got to just tell you, pure Texas cowboys.
They are cowboys.
They're cowboy all the way. Well, you know what? It's a pleasure to visit with you.
Yeah, it was great seeing you guys this morning.
Tell the men I said howdy.
I will.
All right.
It's good to see
Good
you.
to visit with you, Amy.
Keep that wardrobe going.
I'll keep it coming just for you.
Amy Morehouse.
Thanks,
right there.
Dad.
You know, she's so cool, and like I say, she can get away with wearing anything. But talk about growing up in a cowboy way. I mean, she really did on the Pitchfork. So that was a lot of fun. But I got a chance to go on the Pitchforks, do a clinic there with the cowboys.
Where is the Pitchfork Ranch?
Right near the Sixes in Guthrie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're just neighbors, and it's amazing. 2 different ranches got that much land, but that's real cow country up there, and there's the Morehouse Ranch up there, the Nails. There's a lot of big outfits up there, and but to get a chance to go up there and work with those guys, and sometimes teaching the cowboys is tough because those guys already know it. So you got to go in there and just teach them just right. And once they realize you're one of them, then they accept you. Then they're really one.
Yeah, that can be a real hard,
it really is,
tough deal to break, is to kind of get involved with those guys. But somebody that does that really well and as a working cowboy on a ranch that we're going to bring back in here in a moment is Nick Dowers.
Well, we talk about real cowboys. Let's bring the reigning world champion from 2016, and we're going to keep bringing Nick in here because we want his call on what's happening and what's not happening. And again, he is the reigning champion. We were just talking about Bob Morehouse and the Pitchfork Ranch, and you're from big cowboy country as well. And the horses you're training, you're using them in an everyday fashion as well. But the girls, these horses were tough yesterday. There was nothing easy about those horses, and they're having to use all their skills to get the job done.
Yeah, that's right. These aren't backyard raised, been petted every day since they were born kind of horse.
Absolutely.
They're a little standoffish, and they've been raised out in the big country, and it's a little different story.
Was there any in there yesterday, Nick, that you would have had on your list of 4?
12.
Okay.
Yeah. I had 12 down. He was
the bay horse that Vicky had.
The bay horse that Vicky had. Yeah, I had him down there ways about 3rd.
Yeah.
But he was on the list.
Yeah.
I know
really
what your favorite horse was because we talked about it, and it's okay to tell which one you said.
Yeah.
It was the number 5.
Number 5. Yeah.
And what was it you liked about the 5 horse? I think people would be interested because you picked the right horse last year.
Well, what I liked about him was when he was out here with the group, he was always out on an edge. And his ears were working a lot. He was looking around in the crowd. And the thing, I was wondering, well, maybe he's too quiet. But then I see another horse come to bite him, and he dang sure wasn't going to let that horse get him.
Yeah, so he didn't cow down any.
Yeah, he had enough feel to say, I got to get out of the way here. And so that made me think that he could be trained, and he's going to have enough life.
That's interesting, the things that we look for, just like Sarah was up here, all she really did was look at the lineage, but for me, I want to look just what you look like. I like a horse that's not afraid to move away from the group, has a lot of alertness, got those ears working, those eyes blinking, checking things out. Not necessarily the most dominant, but certainly not the most submissive.
Right, yeah, something that I feel like you can see some intelligence, and some horses just kind of have a blank look on their face.
That's that awareness I like to look for.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I seen in 5 that I liked.
Yeah, well, that's good. So, of the girls that worked yesterday, we know how the judges had it, but who did you think should have been winning it yesterday?
Well, I don't know. It's tough to say. I thought Rochelle was doing a really good job.
I did too. Yeah.
Really good job.
Yeah.
She had a little foul up there at the end. Nobody's
she
fault.
did.
It just happens.
Yeah.
But I thought she was doing a really nice job getting her horse ready for today.
I thought so too.
And I thought Sarah did a really nice job preparing her horse again for today.
Well, we're going to see you down on the floor down there. Always great to get the reigning champ's perspective on
absolutely.
things. So again, Nick, thanks for stopping by.
Thanks, Nick.
Hey,
we'll see you a little bit later
be
on.
Up here again tomorrow morning, so we can see review what happened again today.
Sounds good.
Thank you,
we'll
Nick
see
Dowers. All right. Well, you know, we're getting close to the end of our show. And the festivities are going to start up.
Absolutely. One of the things I was thinking that would be kind of really neat, if you guys send us some emails to Road to the Horse or get in touch even via Facebook, and you want a bit of a shout out there to some friends or family, that's something we could probably do.
Yeah, absolutely.
It'd be a good opportunity to share this with your friends on social media. Let them know about this live streaming. Remember, you can watch it for 10 days after the event finishes, so that people have got.
Yeah, if you miss some or you're at a job, you can just crank it up when you get home and not miss the excitement that's going on here. And you'll just have the best seat in the house if you watch the web strike, the live stream.
Well, as we go to close here, we've got a couple of young girls that we're welcoming back here. So
Lauren
we'd like
Mason,
to
yeah,
come on in.
Yeah. So are you guys going to sing, or what are y'all doing today?
We're going to sing.
Here, step right over here, okay? So that microphone.
What are you guys going to sing?
We're going to sing God Bless America.
All right, well, you can't beat that. We might as well let them go to work, and Dan James will be here for the wrap-up and
absolutely
down on the floor during the excitement. Girls, let's
take it away.
God Bless America.
All right, ready? Ready? God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Thank you, girls.
Yes,
excellent
that's
job.
awesome.
All right, Dan, Road to the Horse 2017. I'm Craig Cameron.
I'm Dan James.
And we'll see you on the wrap-up show. Thank you.
See ya.